Welcome back to Quack&Co, the board game channel where every conversation is 10 minutes or less. It is a thirsty Thursday, and I am incredibly excited to talk to you about a product that I spent over a year anticipating. And even during that year, though, I was able to play the game a ton because it comes from an absolutely phenomenal designer and creator and publishing company. And we're going to dive into why the stuff that happens around Trophy makes me so excited. Trophy is an RPG that is absolutely phenomenal that I have fallen in love with. Our own design processes really at Plus One EXP, which makes indie RPGs and reviews other people's games, are very, very influenced by a lot of the work that happens at Gauntlet Publishing, the publishers of this. Jason Cordova, the head of the publishing company, and Jesse Ross, the designer of this game, are two of my favorite people to follow and look at the work that they do. But this has been a game that is bigger than most of the games that I cover on our channel. And the size of it should not intimidate anybody, even if you are not an RPG player, because this is a beautiful set of 3 tomes, and there are some other items that came with the way too expensive pledge level that I pledged at and then doubled down on later on by adding even more stuff. But the amount of play that will come out of these 3 books is tremendous, and the actual visual design is absolutely amazing. We're going to walk through each of the games that come in Trophy, and then a couple of the things that are happening in the community with it separately and individually. So we're going to start with Trophy Dark. Trophy Dark is a play-to-lose game. So you are going to have your character die or go insane at the end of it. You will not pick that character back up later. They will be, the end of their story will happen somewhere in the rings of a Trophy Dark incursion. You're going to notice as you're looking at the actual layout here, it's this absolutely gorgeous kind of dashboard look that gives you a lot of flavor text on some pages, a lot of information about an adventure, which the adventures themselves are just typically a few pages long. And they call them incursions because you are going into an incursion into the forest or a temple or somewhere. You're going to play through 5 different rings of story. And you'll do that by a mix of rolling to see what happens and investigating the area around you to uncover tokens. Those tokens are kind of a meta currency that if you get stuck and can't figure out how to move forward to the next ring, you can spend the tokens to be able to advance to the next one. It's a really interesting interplay between interacting with the fiction and interacting with the mechanics that's designed to keep on driving you through this strong narrative process. And things get weirder and more difficult. And as you use spells or abilities or other things like that, they cause ruin for your character. Ruin is what slowly drives you insane. And you can do things to push your luck, but your motivations as characters in this game are at odds with your fellow treasure hunters and adventurers. So you start out as friends and often allies and end up at each other's throats by the end. It's really amazing. It's really stark. It's beautifully grimdark. And I absolutely love it. Trophy Gold is more the high fantasy version of that. It exists. There is still ruin if you use magic, but your character isn't necessarily going to die at the end. But again, we get the same core rules. And again, it's a D6 system. It's very easy to pick up. You're going to create pools of dice, and you're going to look at some of the highest results that come out every single time you roll. The character sheet is very simple. The walkthrough for creating a character is very easy. You can roll randomly to generate most of the information you need. And there's really great explanations the whole way through. So if you've never played a role-playing game before, but only listened to an actual play, Trophy is a great place to start. And Gauntlet puts out tons of actual plays of Trophy over on their YouTube channel and out as podcasts also too. There's different principles to understand how to play. There's looks at the nature of the land. There's all these different locations that you can drop into your incursions. And the designers who make these things are some of the best designers in indie RPGs today. But you can play an ongoing campaign in Trophy Gold. They both use the same core mechanics and same core setting. And speaking of the core setting, the last book that comes with it is Trophy Loom. Trophy Loom is about the world of Trophy, the building of Trophy. If you want to make your own incursions, if you want to explore the world in distinctive ways, if you need more NPCs, tales of dread, other things like that, you can start to just pull them piece by piece out of this. And again, the production quality, not only the layout, is incredibly high. We get these amazing ribbons in the book. The stitching is absolutely phenomenal. No expense was spared in the production of these. So if you're somebody who's a little bit more ready to invest in a heavier RPG, Trophy is absolutely amazing. I will say, by the time this video comes out, I don't know how many copies will be left out in the world. They didn't do a huge retail end on the back of their pledge. So if you can get a copy of the core Trophy books, I'd highly encourage you to pick it up as quickly as you can. The last thing I want to mention about Trophy is the fact that not only does it have great core books that just released, but people have been playing it for years, because the way Gauntlet does things, they will put out the simplest version of their game as quickly as possible. They'll do very minimal layout and just let people start playing. They let the community start to speak into the design. They get people designing adventures and things for them, and then they bring them all together in these big projects once they have people already excited about the game. So even though Trophy just released this year, I've been playing Trophy for over 2 years now, and there have been people who have been playing it for longer than I have. So it's a very well-supported system, which is absolutely key if you want to keep on playing and want to keep on having resources. But one of the coolest things we see is complete hacks of Trophy that move it in a completely different direction. Lots of times they're Trophy dark, that one-shot experience, right? That's where you're going to be driven insane by some sort of obsession that you have. One of my favorite ones is, without a doubt, Butter Princess. Butter Princess is by Brian Sago. It's not published by Gauntlet, but Brian is very active in the Gauntlet community of play. It's designed as a Minnesota State Fair artifact that you might find at a roadside hotel. And it is about a real-world event called the Butter Princess competition, where it's a beauty pageant and the 12 finalists have their heads sculpted as butter busts that weigh about 90 pounds each, about 90 pounds of butter. And then the winner is determined by voting on which sculpture is the best. You are going to the Minnesota State Fair. You are going to go through different challenges and trials. You will get off the bus with a number of other people, all of whom want to get close to the Butter Princess also. Now, they may want to smash it, destroy it, own it, get a seat on the Minnesota State Dairy Board using its corrupting power. They may want to put it on a roller coaster and send it on a ride. They're all going to have their own reasons they want to get close to the Butter Princess, and they're all going to have weird and bizarre backgrounds. Like, you might be a mall security guard who's on administrative leave for some reason. Let's play to find out. You might be a set of twins, one of whom is a food vlogger who's not doing that well, and the other one who is a adrenaline junkie who is doing not so well, who have come in an attempt to try to regain the glory that they once had. All kinds of things you might do that to be there, including being a dairy golem that is trying to sneak around without anybody knowing that you are cheese made sentient, and try to survive the weirdness of the Minnesota State Fair without getting deep fried. All these kind of things can happen in the course of Trophy Gold, and did when we played it on our channel with Brian. So you're going to continue to go through, face different challenges. There's a lot of gastrointestinal distress potential in this one also too, as you're driven insane by it. But this is a great example of the support that Trophy is giving to its creative community, and is a prime example of how wonderful of a system this is, because in addition to these 3 big, beautiful books, you're getting slim, singular experiences like this that are easy to pick up and play in a couple hours on your average game night. So this Thirsty Thursday, I just wanted to tell you how excited I am about everything happening at Trophy from Gauntlet Publishing and Hedgemade Press. This has been Tony Vicente from Plus One EXP on this Thirsty Thursday over here on Quack&Co. And remember, less time watching means more time playing.